Hi, this is Mike Martin with Acme Truckloads. You know, when this whole coronavirus thing started and people were selling masks, it was like the Wild West out there. At least for most of us that didn't know anything about masks, had no idea that there were differences, different qualities, different protection. And so people were saying, hey, I got mask, and they'll say, I need mask, and I'll sell you the mask. It doesn't matter what it is. Well, now over time, and after selling these sorts of things, there's become a little more sophistication, a little more discern as far as what's being sold and what's being bought by some people. There are still people just saying a mask, and I'll just throw it out there and I'll sell it the cheapest possible way I can. But there's some things you need to know about masks if you're selling or if you're buying. First of all, I'll give you an example. I sell a 3-ply mask. It's a level 3 and it's rated at 98.6%. It's FDA and CE certified. I sell that, and I've sold literally millions of them, tens of millions of them. But there's always somebody who will come along and say, well, I can get those 3-ply masks for 10 cents cheaper, or 15 cents cheaper, or 5 cents cheaper. And there are still people out there buying based on price. The problem with it is you have to look very carefully at those masks that are cheaper. I've looked at some of them that people have offered to me and say, oh, you're selling them for this much, I can get them to you for this much. But if you really look at them, what they are is glorified dust masks. And so they don't offer the protection under these circumstances with the coronavirus that something like the ones we're selling do. The other thing is, people will say to me, I can get it cheaper. I go, why are you calling me? Why call me then? You know what I'm selling them for. Well, I'm just not sure if my source is going to be there tomorrow, or if they have enough for today, or whatever. Well, that's something to consider too. I mean, if you're calling me up about masks that you can get cheaper that you claim are the same, but you can't get a hold of them, now you're trying to negotiate with me with something that doesn't exist. And that's absolute bullshit. You don't do that. Don't play that game. This is not the time to be greedy. There's more than enough money to be made in selling masks, sanitizer, wipes, and those kinds of things, where you don't have to be greedy about it. You don't have to try to get every penny squeezed out of every deal. So there are people out there that will be selling masks. And if you're a seller or a buyer, you should look very closely at, first of all, are they certified? That's absolutely essential. Secondly, what level are they? Are they a level 1, a level 2, a level 3? Now, I'll just tell you this. What defines a level 3 and 3-ply mask is anything above a 95% rating. So at 98.6 with ours, we're well above that, and actually a very protective mask. So if you're paying 3 cents less for a dust mask, it doesn't make any sense. So you got to be very careful about what you're buying. Secondly, there's the KN95s, which are the offshoots of the N95s by 3M. I told you this last time in the video. I'm going to tell you again because you need to be very careful. The N95s by 3M are the most expensive. I've seen people trying to sell them as much as $8, and that's absolutely ridiculous. But one other thing you have to be very concerned about when you're dealing with N95s by 3M, I understand that there's a lot of counterfeiting going on. You may not even be able to recognize whether it's counterfeit or not. So you're buying 3M KN90 or N95s, or you're selling 3M N95s, and if you buy them or sell them, you can get yourself in real trouble unless you know absolutely sure that they are not counterfeit. It's a sketchy situation. That's why I kind of lay off the 3Ms. I don't really deal with those. But here's another thing about the KN95s, which are the Chinese versions of the N95s, which is kind of crazy given that the N95s are made in China too, so, or mostly made in China. So they're coming from the same place. They're a generic brand. They're sent in bulk. They can be put in boxes if you like, but the KN95s have some specific things you need to know too. Now you will see KN95s out there being sold anywhere from $2.20 to $4. I have maybe 100,000 KN95s. Now, the qualifications to make these a worthwhile buy are that first they are FDA approved, CE approved or certified, and they must be on the CDC list, the current CDC list. I think you can get it online. Why that's important is because if you're not on that CDC list, you can't sell them to hospitals, cities, counties, states, any kind of medical organization. They can't buy them unless they're on the CDC list. So you think you score big and you pay $2.10 for KN95s and you realize they're not on the CDC list. Well, your market to sell this stuff is cut by a ton. We should all be wanting to get it to the people that need it. Those kinds of organizations that deal with medical or large corporations that are trying to get people back to work. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a good buy. Once again, I'll tell you, that's not Corona. That's an old man needing to cough now and then. But anyway, so when you're buying the KN95 masks, you've got to be sure that they have a number of things. First of all, that they are FDA and CE certified. You also must know that they are on the CDC list unless you want to sell it to one small group that doesn't need that. It's not illegal to do that. Now here's the thing though, people are learning this, and this is why you're seeing KN95 so cheap. People are realizing that, hey, my market's cut by 80% now, I got to get rid of these things. So be very careful when you're buying KN95 masks. It frustrates the hell out of me because I get people calling me all the time, oh, I can get it cheaper, I can get it cheaper. We're not in a position to take the cheapest thing. We're talking about people's lives. We're talking about trying to keep people from dying. And you're worried about 2 pennies? Well, if that's your concern, you don't have the right sense about what's going on here and what you should be doing. That's not to say you should pay some crazy amounts. You should not. But you should do your homework. Somebody calls me up and says, I got 3-ply masks cheaper than you. Do you want to buy mine? I say, are they FDA approved? Yep. Are they on the CDC list? I don't know. I said, what level are they? I don't know, but I've sold a bunch of them and we've had no problems. Sorry, that's not good enough. Maybe that was okay in the beginning of this whole run of masks and other PPE items, but not anymore. You need to get the right stuff, the best stuff, in order to do the job you're selling these for. This isn't about just putting money in your pocket. This is about doing some good in the world and providing things to people that are valuable and protective to people. So if you're in it just to make a buck, you're in it for the wrong thing, and you should get the hell out and don't call me, because I get these calls all the time. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people in this business don't care about anybody but themselves and how much money they can put in their pocket, and they will try to squeeze every penny out of every deal. This is not the time or the place to be doing that. Know what you're buying, know what you're selling, and try to sell the best possible product. I don't care if you buy it from me, but buy the best stuff. If you're not, you're just wasting everybody's time, and you might be putting somebody in a tight position. As I say, I have the KN95s. They are on the CDC list. They are certified by FDA and CE. They're available. I have the 3-ply level 3 98.6% 3-ply mask, and they are here in the country. If you are a buyer of these things, you call me up, you text me, you email me, we'll get you in the process, and we'll not only sell them to you at a fair and decent price, but we'll ship them to you for free. That's the best I can do. And we hope that everybody's being safe out there. Everybody's wearing the mask where they need to wear the mask and keeping their social distance and all that kind of stuff. So be safe out there. Know what you're doing when you're out selling this stuff. It's not just about making money. It's about being safe and doing some good in the world. You have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.